So there's a new video out of presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the guy who had the brain worm, telling a story to former television star Roseanne Barr about how he killed a baby bear and dumped it in Central Park in 2014. The story is pretty horrific and very unpleasant. They hit the bear with a car, and he takes the bear and puts it in the car and dumps it in the park along with a bike he had to make it look like a biker had hit and killed the baby bear. And he left it there.
I was taking a group of people falconing up in Goshen, New York. A woman in a van in front of me hit a bear and killed it, a young bear. I picked up the bear and put him in the back of my van because I was going to skin the bear. We had a really good day and we went late. We were catching a lot of game and the people really loved it, so we stayed late. And instead of going back to my home in Westchester, I had to go right to the city because there was a dinner. I realized I couldn't go home, I had to go to the airport. And the bear was in my car and I didn't want to leave the bear in the car because that would have been bad. There'd been a series of bicycle accidents in New York. They had just put in the bike lanes. I wasn't drinking, of course, but people were drinking with me who thought this was a good idea. And I said, I had an old bike in my car that somebody had asked me to get rid of it. I said, let's go put the bear in Central Park and we'll make it look like he got hit by a bike.
The story aside, the whole video is very, very strange because it's filmed vertically like a TikTok, and it even has auto-generated captions like a TikTok does. And he's telling this story almost as if he's giving a confession of something bad he did in his past. But the whole time they keep panning to Roseanne, and she seems to have this look on her face that's like, you're crazy. Except not in like a bad way. More in like a, I can't believe you, you crazy son of a bitch.
It's a good idea.
Which is then confirmed at the end of the video when she and him and the cameraman laugh about the story.
I said, let's go put the bear in Central Park and we'll make it look like he got hit by a bike. Funny for people. And I was like, oh my God, what did I do? And then
I don't know what would compel them to think this story is funny. And I would imagine a lot of people on their side of politics also think this is funny. Which is a little disturbing, especially coming from a presidential candidate. But I guess he's not the worst one on the ballot. So the reason he's even talking about this is because they're going to do a big article sort of exposing him for this story. And he wanted to get ahead of it.
The story died down after a while, and it stayed dead for a decade. And the New Yorker somehow found out about it, and they're going to do a big article on me, and that's one of the articles. So they asked me, the fact checker said, you know, it's going to be a bad story. Right?
I think it's a great story.
And I do understand wanting to get ahead of it. Except this video with Roseanne, it seems incredibly staged. Like the whole video just exists for us, the viewers, to see it. He's telling the story to Roseanne, but she seems like she's already heard it. And she's just reacting in a funny or like in what she views as like a natural way. Which is why I find it extremely uncomfortable. Because on the one hand, he's telling this story to Roseanne, who clearly thinks it's amusing.
There were some people on TV in tie-back suits with gloves on lifting up the bike, and they're saying they're going to take this up to Albany to get it fingerprinted.
Uh-oh.
And I was worried because my prints were all over that bike.
But on the other hand, it seems like he's trying to admit this dark thing from his past to the general public.
The next day, it was like, it was on every television station. It was the front page of every paper, and I turned on the TV, and there was like a mile of yellow tape, and there were 20 cop cars.
Another weird part of this is that I think they're at somebody's house, whether it's his or Roseanne's, but somebody's family is around. Like, there's kids playing in the background.
I was taking a group of people falconing.
At one point, there's a girl standing in the kitchen in the background.
Pulled over, and I picked up the bear and put him in the back of my van because I was going to skin the bear, and it was very good condition, and I was going to...
So they're just kind of sitting around telling this story, and laughing about it. So the whole thing is very strange, and I don't quite understand why it was done in the way that it was. But I do think it is an interesting look into the mind of these public figures who have these controversies, because it seems like he's worried this might affect his campaign, which is why he wanted to admit it and get ahead of it. But at the same time, you have Roseanne across from him who fully accepts all of her controversies.
My pronouns are kiss my
and thinks that they're just her political opinions or her free speech. So it's interesting to see how they both react to this story as it's coming out of his mouth. I'm not sure if the actual article is out yet, but obviously there's a bunch of other articles out now about it because he spoke about it. And apparently there's pictures of him with the bear now that came out with some of the articles. I don't really care about that part. I don't know if New York has this, but usually there's programs where you can like report deer or bear or whatever that you've hit with your car. That way they can come clean it up. I don't know why he chose to do what he did and blame it on a biker. I guess he's got something against bikers.
We'll make it look like he got hit by a bike. Funny for people.
I think he probably just could have waited for the article to come out, especially because he says the fact checkers came to him and asked him about it.
They're going to do a big article on me, and that's one of the articles. So they asked me, the fact checkers said.
Which I would assume means he commented in the article, which would therefore make the article his official statement on it. Or he could have done like a classic YouTube apology video or something. I just think it was very odd how he chose to do this. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about this video because I thought it was very weird, and I couldn't stop thinking about it. So